Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. We have had a little bit of a YouTube break.
Yes,
If
we
you've been
needed
following
that.
us for a while, yes, we were posting a video every week and we've had a little bit of a rogue hiatus for a couple
Yeah.
of months. We've been pretty busy doing some really exciting things, which if you are a member of our Patreon, you will know what those exciting things are. If not, we will announce them at some point.
So we spent after United States, we spent the last few months in Indonesia and back to Australia, where we actually live, working a little bit and trying to save money for the next project.
A new adventure.
A new adventure. So if you don't know where we are back in San Diego, where Sasha's family is.
Which is where we built our bus and our ambulance and renovated our camper. So maybe you can guess what we're doing again.
But before getting deep into that, we want to share our experience about van life or bus life in our occasion.
We are going to cover one of the biggest topics on YouTube, which is
Van life.
And what it's really like and the difficulties of full-time van life.
For a lot of people, like van life, it's a dream life. It's about freedom. It's about having the possibility to go wherever you go, sleep in different places, and ultimately have
location freedom, not have to pay rent, be able to travel full-time, to work remotely. Very dreamy things.
For most of the part, it's like this. But there is also another side of van life.
Yeah.
And it's probably one that most of the couple relate to.
If you have been following our channel, you will know that we traveled primarily to Central America and lived van life there. We have not done a lot of it in the United States. So we had a lot of really beautiful experiences in Central America. We got to go a lot of amazing places because we had a camper and a vehicle, and we got to see a lot of tourist attractions when there were no tourists and we were the only ones there, which was really amazing. However, it was a lot of unanticipated difficulties that we came across, particularly in Central America, which you would not find as much in the United States or in Australia. And we want to discuss those today. So we are going to be talking about resources and finding resources in van life, personal space, as well as stress. We're also going to give you 2 tips for each one that we found most helpful from our experience in van life.
By resources, we mean like finding water, finding food, fill up gas, propane gas or gas for the car, and dumping the toilet, which unfortunately is my task. Some of these tasks sometimes require a lot of time, sometimes the whole day.
When you're traveling and you're often in new places, it can be hard to find these amenities and take a lot of time and create a bit of overwhelm having to monitor how much food and water you have and how full your tanks are. And it can feel kind of relentless after a while.
Yeah, especially in a day-to-day life.
So our top 2 tips for resources, number 1 is always have your drinking water separate or have a separate amount of water in your van. We always had 10 gallons of filtered water that we could drink, and if we needed to use that to fill up our tank, we would use that to fill up our tank and do dishes instead. So having this extra water was such a lifesaver, particularly in Central America.
Yeah, having the possibility to see how much water you have to drink, it makes a huge difference and it's less stressful.
Yeah, then you know if you can't shower, at least you have drinking water.
Yes.
Our second tip for this is if you are doing your own van build or looking at buying a van, have the biggest water tank you can reasonably possibly have. There's a huge difference between having 20 gallons of water and 40 gallons of water, obviously in the size, but in how many days that will last you. So we like to have about a 35, 40 gallon freshwater tank.
If it's possible, even more.
Number 2 is personal space.
Probably the biggest one.
This is the biggest one for me. I don't know if it's for women more than men that we need more kind of personal sacred space. For sure me.
I feel this will be the biggest for any couple.
Yeah, for a relationship, this is the biggest one. Obviously, you have a very small space. You do everything. You go to the bathroom, you make lunch, you hang out, you go to bed in one space. So you really need to work well in creating your own space and having your own routine separately so that you don't get so sick of each other.
Yeah.
So we found utilizing the outside of the van or the camper when we're at the beach or in a nice place really helpful. Sometimes I would do my morning routine outside and Stefano would be inside having a coffee, and then it feels like you're as alone as you're possibly going to be in a van. But you really need to make time to have space and time away from each other. That is just absolutely non-negotiable for a couple.
Definitely. We know this is really hard, especially when you're constantly moving, especially when you are in a small space. But if you have the strength to find this little time for yourself, it makes a huge difference in a day-to-day life.
So our top 2 tips for personal space. One is absolutely utilizing outdoor space, having like outdoor camping chairs or workout gear or being able, or a blanket that you can put down in the grass, being able to create a separate space outdoors is absolutely number 1 for me.
Yeah, and number 2 is having open communication. Sometimes when we are in a small space, we don't communicate and we just tend to keep our needs...
Get grumpy.
No, just keep our needs like shut and don't express what we need. And this is like really, really important, like expressing like the needs to be outside, expressing the need to be in these places rather than this. It's really, really important and make a big difference in the relationship. Number 3 is about general stress
of traveling full-time and having your home be in a moving vehicle. You have to figure out where you're going to sleep tonight. Is it illegal to sleep there? Is it safe to sleep there? And there can be a lot of stress compounded with this, particularly if you're working. Where can I access Wi-Fi? Where can I go where I can set up my Starlink, where there's not going to be any trees or construction sounds for my Zoom meetings and things like that?
And we found that the app iOverlander was a huge help.
Basically God.
Yeah.
Basically God in this situation.
App in our life.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, iOverlander is a app where you can find the places to sleep, places where you can fill up water, places where you can dump your toilet.
Mechanics.
Yeah, basically anything that you need while you're traveling. And this is a massive help, and it helps being less stressful during the travel.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine we literally couldn't have traveled Central America by van without iOverlander. There is no way we would have been able to find safe places to sleep and find water. So if you don't have this app and you're doing van life, you're literally, I don't know how you're doing it.
Yeah.
It's an absolute must for us. So our first tip is absolutely to download iOverlander and use that as much as possible. Contribute to it as well. It's a community app. So if you find a nice place to sleep or a place to sleep that's on there that's really trashy or we're not welcome anymore, put that in the app. Put photos to make everyone else's experience a little bit easier.
As well, you can share a picture of the place where you go, beautiful places.
You can add places. You can add places like veterinarians and mechanics that are really good, coffee shops.
This will help the community to grow and people to find better and safer places.
Yeah. Number 2 is don't plan everything last minute.
Like we did.
Don't wait until 5 p.m. to figure out where we're going to sleep tonight. Make sure you have planned ahead of time. We pretty much, most of our arguments and most of our stress was not knowing where we were going to sleep tonight until later in the afternoon, maybe getting there in the dark, not knowing how safe it is, as well as planning out in your month places where you're going to stay for longer than a couple of nights.
Yeah.
So that you can build a routine and just calm down and chill out a little bit, have your coffee shop and your grocery store and make your life feel a little bit more normal. That's going to increase your longevity of van life for sure. I hope you found these tips helpful, and we hope that us sharing our personal experience with you helps give you a better idea of the common struggles.
We believe that sharing pros and cons of van life, it's really important, because most of the time you just see like this amazing, beautiful life that comes with some cons.
Like any life. Nobody's life is perfect. No path is perfect. There are always pros and cons.
Yeah, definitely. By saying this, we want to share our next adventure or project.
Yeah.
Which, since we are talking about how difficult is van life, we decided to build another van.
Yes, we are picking up our new van tomorrow. We are super excited. We have a really short time frame for this van build. We are going to be building this van in 1 month. We're excited because it's not a van that we have built before. It's a
Yeah.
little bit fancier than the ones we
Yeah,
have
it's
built
probably
before.
the newest.
Yeah.
But this summer we are planning to travel in United States, since last we traveled in Central America, and for me, not being from here, I really would like to see lots of beautiful national parks.
Also, we would like to be able to hang out with our puppy Nala, who we picked up in Mexico, and we would like to take her around. So we want to spend a good amount of quality time with her on the road.
Stay tuned for our next adventure, and we're gonna take you along the journey of building the van and traveling to United States.
Thank you for watching. As always, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and let us know in the comments what you think.
See you in the next episode.